Welcome to Bus Driver Life. I am a public transit bus operator or bus driver in Sacramento, California. So what I want to do is I want to bring you to work with me. Basically, I'm going to show you some of the things that I dealt with on one of my shifts. So this particular shift, it was a Saturday and I was operating the Route 86 here in Sacramento. And as you can see on the map right here, the Route 86 serves downtown Sacramento, the South Natomas area, and it goes all the way over to the Marconi Arcade light rail station. Here goes an example of the schedule on Saturdays. As you can see, this is not a very frequent bus. You can see the departures from Marconi Arcade, 6:57 a.m., 7:57 a.m., 8:57 a.m., and it continues going on. And the last departure is at 9:12 p.m., so this bus does not run very late. So on this day, I was operating a 2022 Gillick BRT Plus bus. This is one of the newer buses that we have here in Sacramento. And we can take a look at the driver's area. Here's the screen right here that we look at. It has a lot of valuable information. And this screen actually shows a reverse backup camera when the bus is put into reverse. So here's an example of that. So you put the bus into reverse and there you go. You can see behind you and it's not really that clear. It's actually kind of blurry, but it does give you an idea of what's behind you. But I still recommend that you use your mirrors when you're going in reverse, and you have to have a spotter depending on where you're at, because they really do not want bus operators to back the bus. The only times here in Sacramento that they want us to back the bus is when we're backing into our stalls, when we're parking the bus in the yard or the garage, whatever you want to call it. It's not technically a garage, it's a yard. We're actually underneath the freeway. Or here's a visual so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. And here's the rear end of the bus that I was driving, and you can see the reverse camera right there. When you're operating a bus, you see a lot of interesting things. Now, I witnessed somebody doing something very interesting, and I guess they were just trying to keep themselves busy. This was not a passenger of mine or anything like that, but this was at a light rail station, and actually is something regarding safety that I like to point out. But if you see, this guy is occupying his time by jumping over this construction cone. I'm not sure why that cone is there, but he's jumping over it, and he's clearing that cone too. Good job. But as you can see, he keeps going onto the light rail tracks. This is where light rail trains arrive and depart.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
But as you can see, he keeps running on the light rail tracks, and that's kind of dangerous. You should never go on train tracks unless you have to cross. But prior to crossing, you want to look and make sure it's clear before you cross. Other than that, just stay off of the tracks. Another thing that I encountered while driving the bus this day is a motor coach bus, a very nice looking motor coach bus. I believe that's a Prevost. They were parked at a bus stop. Now this bus stop is located right next to the Golden One Center in downtown Sacramento. And right around the corner is the service entrance where you will see a lot of tour buses and semi trucks going in to load up for a show or a production that will be held at the Golden One Center. So I believe they use our bus stop kind of as a staging area. So whenever this happens, we are not able to pull up to the bus stop. Now, the only time this really creates a problem is when you have a person with a mobility device and we cannot pull up to the curb to lower the bus. So in most cases, people will have to step off of the curb or roll off of the curb somehow to get to the bus. So that does create a problem. So one of the major things that I encountered on this trip was at the end of my line in downtown Sacramento, the last stop where we lay over / have recovery time, construction crews completely closed the stop. They were actually doing a construction project the next block past the stop, but of course they have to start to divert traffic away from where they're working ahead of time. So it just so happened that our bus stop was the place where they started to divert the traffic. And at this bus stop, there are multiple buses that stop here. There's 2 buses, including my route 86, that lays over here until it's time for us to depart. And there's a few other buses that stop here along their route. So as you can see, right now, there's a little bit of a space and a sign that says bus only. And you can see my bus kind of pulled over to the side. So when I first pulled up, that space had not been made. There was no space. There were all cones there. So I pulled over to the side and put my 4-ways on. And then a construction guy came and he put the bus only sign right there. And then he also opened up a little bit of space. However, that wasn't enough space for us to pull into the bus stop and pull out of the bus stop. We are operating 40-foot buses in most cases. And so they actually had to give a little bit more space. So my bus was kind of the pilot bus, in which they saw how much space they had to allow for the buses to pull in and out of that stop. But this is just one of those situations where you're not really sure what you're going to encounter sometimes. And in some situations you want to call dispatch and they'll give you specific instructions, and then sometimes you just have to make a judgment call and use common sense to figure out how you're going to deal with the situation. So that's kind of a brief day in the life of a bus driver. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and thank you for watching Bus Driver Life.